And let's start with the first one because we're already talking about it, Marcus. The Dak Prescott contract to you is blank.
A steal for the Dallas Cowboys. I know he's the second highest paid quarterback in the league now at 40 million. But the one thing that I don't think fans and people around the league even know yet is the new TV money is going to be coming in here very, very soon. And do you know who handles the TV contracts and the gambling contracts? That would be Mr. Jerry Jones. So I think
Yes.
he might have had an idea of the money and where the salary cap is going to be here over the next couple of years. And that we can easily see the salary cap double. And it also doesn't hurt that guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and soon Kyler Murray are all going to be up for extensions. They're all going to get more than what Dak Prescott got because that's just the way free agency works. So I think it would not be surprising to me, Adam, by the time that Prescott takes his next snap with the Dallas Cowboys, he's already going to be the third, fourth, fifth highest paid quarterback in the league. So this will prove to be a steal for the Cowboys.
I think it's a fascinating blueprint, and here's why. He held out. He got seriously hurt. The ultimate fear of not signing a deal, and he still broke the bank. And so if you're a quarterback, of course, you don't want to go down this path of saying, if I get hurt, I'm going to be okay. Everything's a bit different. But this was a pretty significant injury, and he still got paid. And then the other thing, Marcus, is a 4-year deal. He's going to hit the market, in theory, in 31, correct? Like his early 30s, where who knows, you mentioned the cap being potentially double. Again, whatever it is, it's going to go up based off of, viewership, based off of money, post-pandemic, etc. If you're a young quarterback, I think this is the blueprint. An enormous sum of money in a short period of time, and then the chance to do it all over again. Marcus, it's very NBA-like to me. It feels like LeBron-ish, the way that he sort of has handled this. I think he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah, and I think you're right with the blueprint. He's laid it out for Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Baker Mayfield. And if you're one of those three quarterbacks, you absolutely don't want to be the first one to sign your deal, right? You want to be the last one because you know that money is going to go up. So I think while Prescott did lay out this blueprint, I really think Kirk Cousins is the one that deserves credit here, right?
Yes.
He was really the first one to say, hey, I'll play on the franchise tag. It's not a problem at all. I know my value can only go up. And I think Dak Prescott executed that plan to a T.
The one last thing to tie a bow on this, we talked about overpaying for Dak. That was like a theme, I think, this time last year.
No such
I didn't hear any of that, Marcus. Like, I haven't heard any of that. People look at the deal and say, yeah, it's a lot of money. And oh my God, look at that signing bonus. I haven't heard any of that. And for a year where the guy got seriously hurt, again, go back to the blueprint and just go back to all of this. I think it's just been a fascinating 10 months, whether it comes to the injury or just the perception of the player.
I really think Patrick Mahomes changed the NFL, where everybody knows that you have to have an elite quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes or challenge him. So there's no way that you can overpay a quarterback, because if you believe he can go toe-to-toe with a Brady, with a Mahomes, with that level of quarterback, who cares if they take out 20% of your cap? They give you a chance to ultimately reach the Super Bowl, and that's all that matters.
So, all right, let's move on, because I know you could talk Dak for days, and actually so could I. I think it's fascinating, just the finances behind it. Let's move to, this is franchise tag season. We're in the thick of it as we record this. There's been news already today. There'll probably be more news. I guess for you, the best franchise, most logical franchise tag so far is?
Actually, an off-the-radar one, Taylor Moton of the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know that's not a big name, but this is one of the better right tackles in the NFL. He was going to get absolutely paid in free agency. He's only 27 years old. He's played 100% of the snaps over the last 3 years for the Panthers. And I don't think it's a secret, Adam, that there's going to be a new quarterback there in Carolina. So the first thing you want to do is put offensive linemen around him to protect him. I think Taylor Moton is really good. You're going to be paying him a lot of money, but he's worth it. And I think Justin Fields or Trey Lance will very, very much appreciate that.
I think it's Allen Robinson for two reasons. A, I just am enamored with the talent. I know you like him a lot as well, but B, I think it's a valuable asset. And so wherever the Bears go with this, there's a flexibility in doing it. It's the right answer, or I guess it's the predictable answer, Marcus. But I put it on Twitter. The one thing that's kind of sad as a Jets fan and a team that needs a wide receiver, you see Godwin come off the board. You see Allen Robinson, and you realize like this is sort of the way NFL free, step one of this is all these players that have been kind of loosely tied to your team. They're mostly gone before you even get there, right? And it feels like that was as much buzz as Robinson got, and maybe of course trade whatever. It feels like this was the easiest call of them all if you're the Bears.
Yeah, it was. No matter who's the quarterback there, you got to give him a number one receiver. Allen Robinson has been maybe the league's most underrated receiver since he was drafted out of Penn State. I think he's fantastic. You pair him with Darnell Mooney. You have Anthony Miller in the slot. I think at least you have the weapons to support a new quarterback, whoever that is. It's a super smart move by the Chicago Bears.
All right, so the next two for me are kind of intertwined. But let's start with the first one. A Jimmy G Patriots reunion is blank. A lot of ways you can go with this, I guess.
Unlikely? I guess I don't see it, right? For this to happen, the 49ers would have to get a clear upgrade. And they would need to do that sooner rather than later. They can't wait until the draft to cut Jimmy G just because of some of the contract stuff. So are they going to be able to find an upgrade in free agency or via trade? I don't think so. And I don't think New England can hang around and hope that Jimmy Garoppolo becomes available. They're going to have to, either make a move in the draft to trade. They're going to have to go out and trade, somebody in the draft. I just don't see it. I know it's a lot of fun. I know how much Bill Belichick likes Jimmy Garoppolo. I just don't see it.
For me, it's more sizzle than spice. Like it sounds fun, but I don't necessarily think this is good for anybody. I don't think if you're the Patriots, you need to figure out what your long-term solution is. And that ain't the guy. And your team, frankly, isn't constructed, most likely, even with a lot of opt-outs coming back, to win now. So for me, it sounds fun. And of course, Belichick, the aura of that, I guess, is kind of interesting. But I'm kind of with you. I think all three of the entities, whether it's the 49ers, Jimmy G, and the Pats, are just kind of like, this is options weighing. Jimmy G is certainly not as enticing as he once was. And again, San Fran is obviously going to look for other options there. May not have any. So I get the intrigue. I think it's, again, more bark than bite, to just use another corny way to label this thing. Let's move on then, because this could, of course, we're talking about cuts and, Jimmy G, could he be the shocking one? The most shocking cut will be blank.
How about Tyron Smith of the Dallas Cowboys? I think the Cowboys are in a situation where they have the number 10 pick. There's a very good chance that there's an offensive tackle that falls to them. Tyron Smith has missed at least 3 games in 3 straight seasons. He's coming off a neck injury. He's still fairly young, but I just don't know if the Cowboys can dedicate that much cap space to a guy that's always this injured. I'm really 50-50 here, but I think if he's cut, that would be the biggest name, because this is an all-pro left tackle that, if he has a couple more seasons, it might be a Hall of Fame player. Would not be totally shocked if he's released.
I don't necessarily. The most shocking cut will be, and I'm going to punt on this one. I'm going to say kind of no one, because I don't necessarily think I think you're going to see guys. Adrian Claiborne got cut like the moment we were coming on air. And that's the kind of names I think you're going to see, Marcus. What I think you're going to see instead is a lot of restructuring. And I don't necessarily think you'll see that one guy. I think there'll be some intriguing names, and it'll, seed the market a little bit. I don't necessarily see that one name that's going to jump off the page. But that said, executives are going to be busy. The lawyers are going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of contracts being worked up. And I think just the restructuring based off of teams, when you see like the New Orleans or, a Green Bay or whomever, I think there's going to be a lot of that, which is, they'll try and do it. And who knows, maybe some guys will not be willing to do that and hit the market. I don't necessarily think it'll be as crazy as we think. Although, again, with the books that have to be balanced, you never know. And finally, something that is near and dear to me is uniforms, right? What we're wearing. Have you seen the new Bengals leaks? And I guess my question is, the new Bengals uniforms are blank.
Underwhelming. I really was hoping for this all white with these black stripes. I thought that would look really cool. These ones just seem like they made a tiny change, and it's not that big of a deal. Listen, not to throw Nike under the bus, but I have not been a big fan of some of the Nike uniforms that they've put out over the last couple of years. So going underwhelming here.
They are better, but they are not great. It's less Any Given Sunday-y. Not a compliment. Like they're a little bit more polished. They still feel like a little kid got into a CAD program though and just
Yeah,
went to town, right?
yeah.
Like the whole tiger. I get it. It's a tough foundation to work with from a color standpoint too. Like already, I think naturally it's going to look a little cartoony. Man, I could talk uniforms for days, and I know you probably could.
Well, what's the
Also.
best
So
uniform of all time? Just really quickly, because this is a debate we need to have on another show. But right now, best uniform of all time.
I would say Penn State is always naturally.
Ooh,
If
okay.
I go into college, I'm cheating,
Okay.
right?
No, no,
I
no, that's
I am a
fine.
purist. I'd say UCLA, USC, Penn State, Alabama. Those looks are just so pure. In the NFL, it's a little harder to me. The Cowboys have a great look, frankly.
Yeah.
I think
Their
if you're
blue
picking
uniforms,
NFL,
especially. Yeah.
they are great. Who do you have in the NFL as your favorite? Now that we've completely gone off the rails.
Yeah. So in the NFL, I still love the Raiders black uniforms. The silver and black
Me
is
too.
just so clean, so good. Probably right now is Michigan. I just love the blue and yellow. It looks really good. The dark uniforms for Michigan will always have a special place in my heart.
All right. We're going to have to dedicate a full segment, full pod to uniforms. We
I'm
can
good.
do
Let's
it.
let's do it.